C-C-L-E, we ride.
Dog pound pride in the sky.
Let's go.
Lock in, lights up, game face on. It's the Hardcast, baby, bring it on.
It's the Cleveland Hardcast Sports Show.
Yeah.
Blue collar blood, that's how we go.
Let's go.
Every city, every team, we won't smoke. If you ain't built like this, you might choke. It's the Cleveland Hardcast Sports Show.
Say what?
Hard hits, hot takes, let it roll.
Let it roll.
From the first whistle to the last blow. Cleveland Hardcast, welcome to the show. Hey!
Welcome, fellow Cleveland sports fans, to another edition of the Cleveland Hardcast Sports Show. I got to get me a little crowd cheer or something going on. How you doing today? This is Dr. Hogwash, your host. I'm doing excellent, thank you. I guess we could count this as the first official video, first official show, first official episode, whatever you want to call it. Moving forward, I think we've got everything ironed out. The bugs worked out. You know, I think I'm confident that whenever I have guests, that'll be not a problem. So anyway, hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying the little break before the combine here this weekend, and then the draft, and and then the Indians are going to be, the Guardians are going to be on the field here before you know it. It's spring's in the air, as it will, even though it's been snowing last couple of days, but spring's in the air. Today, thought I would kind of start at the beginning for me and talk a little bit about an era of football from my childhood with the Cleveland Browns, and introduce a segment that I'm going to throw in here weekly. I don't know if it's going to be a Monday thing, a Tuesday thing, or whatever. But going forward, we're going to try and stick to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday kind of schedule, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Anyway, 3 days is what has been determined. Got too much brain plaque. Wait till you get 60. So one of the new segments is introducing a new sports themed song. So it's I guess the easiest way to I don't know, the easiest way for me anyway to talk about old time or my youth, watching football on TV, listening to it on the radio. Starting out at the old stadium, and for many of you that live here in the area and have been around for the old Cleveland Stadium, you know which seats I'm talking about when I talk about the poles or the beams are blocking your view. So most of the time my seats, or our family seats, were behind those poles, or right around there. So one of us wasn't seeing something. But that was the joy of Cleveland Stadium. It was a part of the experience, next to the hot dogs, etc. Many games spent down there. At that time, tickets were pretty inexpensive, especially for the Indians. Oh my God, you can get into the Indians for pretty much next to nothing, and buy whatever cheap seat, and then move down behind home plate because nobody was there. But I digress. So I'm gonna play that song. So I feel like that there needs to be some more Cleveland anthem songs. When I was a kid, or when I was younger, we had Bernie, and I just feel like that's something this town's missing. It's missing some anthem songs, some tailgate songs, some whatever, and just something to make you laugh, make you cry, make you smile, make you frown, whatever. Yeah, I'm just babbling today. That's just me, So came up with a song, of course, with the help of AI, called "This Is Our Year Again." So enjoy. Once we clear this song, once it's over, then we'll get into the meat of the show. So let me throw this song up there. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear this. Let me make sure. There we go. All right.
Pull my faded jersey out the bottom drawer. Set it back in April like I said the year before. Tickets in the nosebreeds, doesn't matter where I sit. This is our year, I feel it, yeah. This time it's legit, oh yeah. This is our year again. Paint the cooler, call your friends. From the lakefront wind to the cheap seat cheer, we swear we're taking it all this year. Arts on the line, same old end. This is our year. This is our year again. Summer had me dreaming on a walk-off swing. Then October came around and did his usual thing. Snow boots in September for Sunday tailgate loft. We hug in the parking lot, say next year we'll be the boss, you know it. This is our year again. Tell the story, head amen. From the dog-time road to the drumline beat, we keep on dancing in the same old seat. Hope kicks high and trips at the end. This is our year. This is our year again. One more time. Something that said it in 92. I said it last season, now I'm saying it to you. We pass it down like hand-me-down, yeah. Family tradition. Hey kid, this is our year. This is our year again. Ride it sharp and permanent pin. From the summer sun to the frozen beer, we toast my heartbreak, still we cheer. Laugh through the loss, we just pretend. This is our year. This is our year again. One more time. This is our year. This is our year again.
Well, what do you think? Is that your new spring anthem song? I thought it was pretty damn cool. Anyway, I'm going to throw one of those at you each week, probably on a Monday or Tuesday to start off the week, and then go from there. So today, again, I'm going to talk about a period of time in my youth that really had a significant effect on my life as far as Cleveland sports goes, and I think it probably did for a lot of you. Today, we're stepping back in a time machine. No replay review, no fantasy apps, no social media meltdowns, just cold Lake Erie wind, aluminum bench seats, and football team, excuse me. Hold on, where's my... made some notes today, too. So we're going to talk about a football team that refused to win comfortably. Before the drive, we all know the drive. Well, if you're old enough, you know the drive. But before the drive, there was the Kardiac Kids. And if you're too young to remember the Kardiac Kids, your parents probably remember the Kardiac Kids and talk about them fondly, even though it was a rough period in our lives. It was happy and rough. That's why it was the Kardiac Kids, man. You needed a strong heart. It was heart-stopping football in its purest form. Setting the scene, Cleveland in the late 70s, picture it, late 70s, steel mills are still going full force. The city is grit in its lungs, frost on its collar, and the Cleveland Browns are trying to find their identity in the post-Jim Brown era. They had talent, they had flashes, but what they didn't have was calm, serenity, whatever you want to call it. Enter Coach Sam Rutigliano, a man with a mustache that looked like it could call its own plays. I don't know, right? And under center, a quarterback who would become Cleveland folklore. Yes, that's Brian Sipe. Let's see, Brian Sipe, the Iceman with a pulse of chaos. Brian Sipe wasn't flashy. He wasn't loud. He didn't look like a superstar, but he could engineer a 2-minute drill like he was defusing a bomb with 70,000 people screaming directions at him. Brian had this calm demeanor about him, but what he created on Sundays, on par with an emotional hurricane, I guess. In the 1980s, he threw for, 4,100 yards and 30 touchdowns. He was named NFL MVP, so let that sink in. And then an MVP quarterback in Cleveland. Yeah, right. See, it happened. So he was slinging it all over the yard before it was fashionable, but the stats only tell part of the story. The rest of the story, it lived in the final 2 minutes of pretty much every game. So talk a little bit about the 1980 magical season. Yeah, I know, magical season. So the 1980 season is where the Kardiac Kids legend crystallized. The Browns finished 11-5, but that record didn't tell you how they got there. They've had, 7 games decided in the final minute. 7 games, final minute. These weren't comfortable wins. They were pulse oximeter games, heart-pumping games. Last-second touchdown against the Cowboys for one. A wild comeback against the Raiders. Nail-biters that turned living rooms into cardiology awards. Our living room was for sure. I mean, it was, man. If you were a football fan at all in Cleveland, man, you had to have a strong heart. I mean, luckily I was a kid, so I was out playing all the time and had a pretty strong heart. But man, made for some exciting football. And looking back on it, I'm glad I got to experience it. I'm sure I'm glad a lot of you did as well. So the Browns weren't just winning games. They were staging weekly theatrical productions titled How Much Can One Fan Base Take? There you go. And the city loved it, as far as I know. Put in the comments if you loved it or didn't love it, whatever. Because Cleveland has always loved fighters, and that's true. We're a blue-collar town. We've always loved fighters, the underdogs, the scrappy guys, the comeback stories. Not front runners, fighters. So the cardiac culture, we'll use that as a term. The nickname Kardiac Kids wasn't marketing. It was survival documentation. This team created a generation of fans who learned very early joy would never come easily. Sorry, I got an itch. So, but it did make it sweeter. Fathers pacing, grandparents gripping radios, kids staring at rabbit ear TVs like they were sacred artifacts. These games bonded families. You didn't just watch the Browns. No, you endured them together. And that's another thing that's been missing in sports, not just Cleveland sports, but sports in general, is that true family bonding. My friend Charlie out in Dallas is going to join me next Monday. We talk about that quite a bit. The whole experience of the family bonding with sports, especially football, because he's got a big football family over there. Yeah, I just feel like that whole experience is missing. Yeah, you get into games and you get in the heat of the moment or whatever, but I feel like maybe it was my perception as a kid or something, but I just feel like that whole family getting together, dads and sons, grandparents and kids, or grandparents, 3 generations, whatever, on a Sunday, watching the game, feeling closer at the end of the game because you feel like you went through a war together, and I don't know, it feels like something's missing, and I hope someday, if you're a kid now, I hope you get to experience that, and I hope you do experience it, because it really helps. It really helps with the fabric of who you are, especially coming from this town, from this area. It really ingrains in your soul that fighting spirit and that enduring, scrappy spirit. So anyway, that's my little soapbox. So the near miss, Red Ride 88. If you don't know what Red Ride 88, we'll talk about it real briefly here, but you may want to Googleize Red Ride 88 there and watch it in one of those old NFL clips or something. So, and then the moment that still echoes, the 1980 AFC divisional playoff. The Browns versus the Raiders. Freezing conditions at Municipal Stadium. The play call, Red Right 88. Sipe rolls right, looking for Ozzie Newsome, old number 82, in the end zone. Instead, interception. Season over, just like that. Kardiac Kids don't go out quietly. They went out dramatically, as usual, because of course they did. It wasn't a blowout. It wasn't anticlimactic. It was it was a frozen dagger, for lack of a better term. And somehow that pain made the legend even bigger, and why it still matters. So why it still matters. Here's the thing. The Kardiac Kids never won a Super Bowl. They never even made it to one, but they built something just as powerful. Belief. I know that's a word that's hard to come by these days, but especially with the Browns, but they created belief. They taught Cleveland that no game was ever over. They taught fans to stay until the clock read 0, till the fat lady sang, whatever you want to call it. So we always stay till the end, no matter what. They taught a city how to live in the tension. You became a different person, you became a special person because you learned to live with that, that tension, that, anticipation, and, it's part of you. You fought through it, you lived it. And then, so you can draw a straight emotional line from the Kardiac Kids to the Bernie years, and which are also my formidable or favorite years as well. So that whole time frame, those two concurrent eras. So you can draw a line to the Bernie years, to the drive, and the fumble. To every modern fourth quarter sweat we've lived through, that DNA for that DNA started there with the Kardiac Kids, with Brian Sipe, with Sam Rutigliano, Mr. Mustache. So with a team that turned football into weekly cardiac conditioning, you've got this legacy. So the legacy is when people talk about Browns history. Jersey's getting caught on my arm of the chair here. They talk about championships in the 50s. So they talk about the heartbreak in the 80s. But the Kardiac Kids, they were the bridge. They are the reason Cleveland fans don't leave early. They're the reason hope survives 2 interceptions and a missed field goal. Because somewhere in the back of every Browns fan's mind is the whisper, we've seen this before. Stay ready. Be prepared. So, with all that being said, the Kardiac Kids didn't just play football. They played with their nervous system. And Cleveland wouldn't have had it any other way. If you lived it, you remember the pacing. If you didn't, your older Browns fans, your older siblings, your parents, whatever, still breathe differently in the fourth quarter in today's games. And you know why now. So I know a lot of you that watch are probably close to my age anyway, and you probably know all this already, but I just wanted to start this show or this series with an episode like this because in case you're not a Browns fan, this is kind of where we come from. This is what makes us who we are. And it's in our DNA, and we act the way we act because of it. And I'm proud to say that I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. Regardless of what's happened over the years, I really am fortunate to live in this area, and I'm fortunate to be a part of the Cleveland Browns legacy. I hope you feel that way too. And if you're not from around here, wherever you're from, I hope you get some kind of semblance of that, or some kind of feeling, that the sport of football brings to you, your hometown team, and the ups and downs that go along with it, being a fan. So, with that being said, I where were you during the 80s? Put it in the comments if you were born then anyway. So guard your heart. If you're a Cleveland fan, guard your heart. And until next time, it's been fun, and we're going to have some fun on the show, and it's going to be a little different, and I hope you enjoy it. So, with that being said, I know I say that a lot. My wife gets on me all the time. But with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope this brought a little bit of something to your day, a little joy, a little reminiscing, whatever it is. And until next time, I've been Dr. Hogwash, and talk to you soon.
Cleveland in the building, you know how we roll. From the first hot take to the final goal. From the dog pound roar to the hardwood floor. We break it all down, then we come back for more, yeah. This the Cleveland Hogcast Sports Show, we locked in. Talking every dub, every loss, every top win. You ran with the squad, now it's time that we go. Thanks for watching, that's the Cleveland Hogcast Sports Show. Hey!